Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped. So you may well know I have a little bit of a thing for a Lancia Delta HF Integrale, and last year at one of the breakfast clubs I photographed and filmed this yellow Integrale behind me, and through a long process of getting in touch with the owner, I'm finally here and I am gonna get to bring this to you. Now this is a very, very special Integrale. It's what's called a Giallo limited edition, one of only 220 cars. It's a very, very rare car. It's very beautiful. So we're gonna get to have a good look round that, and I'm gonna get to drive it as well, which is very cool. But the owner also has that. So that is a fully rally prepared Integrale, and guess what? We're going to have a look at that, and I'm going to get to drive that as well. So I am so massively excited. Now I'm not a big gamer, but when I was, I had a PlayStation 2, that puts the age on there, and there was a game called Colin McRae Rally, which many of you will have probably played. And one of the stars of Colin McRae Rally was one of them. And I owned at the time a Toyota Celica, so I had this big thing about sort of Celicas and Integrales, and I've loved them ever since. I'm going to get to drive them today. This is going to be a very, very special day. So let's start off with this one then, shall we? Beautiful bright yellow paintwork. So this is what's called a Giallo limited edition. As I said in my intro, only 220 of these in the world, and it's a very, very beautiful car. Now the interesting thing about this one is it's literally, and the reason why it's taken so long to get this on Petrol Ped, is this has been off the road for a year having a complete engine rebuild. So it's literally been on the road less than a couple of days. It's done about 80 kilometers since the engine rebuild. So we're not going to be able to drive this too hard because it's still on running in oil. But just to get behind the steering wheel of one of these is going to be quite something. They're left-hand drive, so that's going to be quite interesting. And somewhere in the region, when they were made of sort of 215 horsepower, which in hot hatch terms today isn't that much, but back then it was a huge amount. Four-wheel drive, rally heritage. I just can't wait to drive this thing. Oh dear me. So here we go. So I'm actually just going to drive this car around to the garage and pick up Ellis, who is the very, very kind owner who's letting me drive this car. I'm driving a Lancia Delta HF Integrale. Oh dear, this is a real moment for me. A real moment. I've wanted to drive one of these cars for 20-25 years. They came out in the early 90s and I fell in love with them then, and I'm gonna get to drive one. Well, I am driving one. So here we are, guys. So this gentleman next to me is Ellis, and he is the guy who's very kindly invited me to come and drive his babies today. Welcome to Petrol Ped, mate.
Thank you.
It's taken a while. But as I said in the intro, the car that kind of got us together was this one. I think it might have been a hot hatch Sunday, I think, last year.
Goodwood, yes.
And took some pictures and video, because it just, of all the cars there, just drew my attention. I love coming to things like this because you walk around and you're surrounded by Porsches and Ferraris and lots of lovely things. And then I'm walking along, look out the corner of my eye, and I spot this thing. And I have a massive amount of lust for this car. Lancia Delta HF Integrale. I just think I always try and work out which car I take home when I come to one of these things, and I have to say, this is right up there, maybe in the top 3 today. Very, very nice. We got talking over, introduced via a mutual friend, and it's literally taken 12 months because this car, as I said, has been fairly heavily in the shop with an engine rebuild. But I thought it'd be really great to get Ellis along, because if you want to know about Lancia Delta HF Integrales, this is your man. He knows pretty much everything there is to know, or if he doesn't know, your mate does.
He does, yeah. He does.
So you've owned this car for a long time, you were saying?
I have, yeah, since 99. started off as a daily driver, and then eventually got put in the garage, and now just special occasions.
Yeah. And lots of track days.
Lots of track days. Yeah, it's done lots of track days. It's been to Goodwood plenty of times, and plenty of other tracks around the country.
Yeah. Yeah. So what have you done to the engine? Is it just a standard engine rebuild, or have you put some?
No, it's
some fire on it as well.
No, it's always been modified.
Yeah.
It's always been quite a quick car.
Yeah.
And so it's basically been refreshed and a little bit strengthened up.
Yeah.
Upgrade your pistons and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Just to give it a. I mean, the car's getting old now, so at some point in its life, it needs to be taken apart.
And I'm quite lucky because when was the work finished? This week?
It's done about 70 kilometres, I think, and now you're behind the wheel.
Oh, great. We've got some limits. We can only sort of take it up to about 4,000 RPM, but it's just what I'm loving about this car already is just the analog nature of it. It's just so, oh man, it's just fantastic. It's almost sat there growling under the bonnet going, let me get running, and then let me give it, I want to be thrashed within an inch of my life.
I only drove it to the petrol station, and it is feeling quite urgent.
Yeah. I don't know why I've got such a fascination with these. I just think that the exterior looks, the kind of angular nature and those big flared arches and stuff, and you've got that nice roof spoiler as well. All of that put together, it just makes it look wicked. It
does. I mean, everywhere you go in one of these, they get attention.
Yeah.
I take it down to Goodwood. I'm not going tomorrow, but if I took it to Supercar Sunday, I park it next to a line of Ferraris, and everyone goes and looks at this.
Well, that's what happened to me. I saw it across the paddock. It was like, oh my goodness me. See, now the nice thing about having that little or smaller steering wheel is it's really, really pointy. Oh, this is more like it.
Unfortunately, you will find some bumps and that up there, but it's what it is.
If I owned this car, I'd be doing that every single opportunity possible, I think. If you wanted to find an Integrale, I mean, where's the best place to look? I mean, there must be loads of dogs out there, and you've got to be really careful to find a good one.
There is. You need to get it inspected by a specialist, a trusted specialist, not just your local garage, because they don't know what to look for.
Yeah.
There's lots of things that can go wrong with them, but like any car, really.
Yeah.
And I've heard stories of people turning up at petrol stations and doing a deal and driving away, and then having to spend £3,000, £4,000, £5,000, £6,000 on something. So get them inspected.
And what are there any key things to look out for to kind of, if you see it, just walk away?
Well, really, I mean, a car of this age, a good body is the main thing to look for.
Yeah.
They do, they can suffer from stress cracks, obviously any pre-accident damage.
Yeah.
And they do have areas that can rust.
Yeah.
So, just getting all of those bits checked, really.
So we're going to head back to the garage, and it's a tough day, but next up is I've got to drive a fully rally prepared Integrale. I don't know how I'm going to manage to deal with that one.
Sure you cope.
I'll cope. Well, that was a whole lot of fun. What an experience getting to drive my first Integrale. But now I'm going to drive my second one. It's time to take out the fully rally prepared car. Bit of a beast, little bit more power, much more aggressive gearbox and sort of running gear and so on, because it is a full rally car. So this is going to be awesome. go. So this is very, very cool because first things first, this is the first 6-point racing harness I've ever strapped myself into, which is pretty cool. And it's got everything, it's even got the intercom things, and it's just a proper rally car. So tell me about this car, Ellis. This looks awesome, mate.
Well, this is a 16 valve Integrale rally car. It spent most of its life being a rally car. It's not a works machine.
Yeah.
Bought it a couple of years ago, and
You've even got to put the steering wheel on.
And refreshed it and got an MSA license for it.
Yeah.
So I pull that in there.
Yeah.
There you go. You're on.
We're on. We are good to go. So what's the startup procedure?
So foot on the brake.
Oh, because it's not got a handbrake.
It's only got a hydraulic handbrake.
Yeah.
Pop that on.
Yeah.
Lift. That's it. Flick that one up. Fuel pumps on. Press the start button. That's it. You're away.
This is very cool.
No speedo.
Right.
Just a rev counter.
Yeah.
That's the only bit really that you need to worry about.
Yeah.
There we go.
Excellent. Oh man, this is a proper childhood dream about to happen here. Oh, so this car has actually been signed by one of my mega rally heroes, Juha Kankkunen. I can remember seeing him at Woollerton Park in the RSC Rally when I was a nipper.
Well, he was due to have a drive of this actual car at Rally Day, I think last year. For various reasons, he didn't drive anything.
Yeah.
But he insisted on signing it.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, it just feels fantastic. It sounds wicked, and we're only doing 2,000 RPM. And what I love as well is it's so noisy in here. What's that pump at the back? Is that's fuel pumps? That's fuel pumps going.
Yeah.
And these seats, I mean, you talk about, you know, people having bucket seats in their cars. These are proper bucket seats. The sides come up above my hips. Full 6-point racing harness. You ain't going anywhere in this. Oh man. This isn't running in, so you can be a bit more brutal with this. Wow! Oh my god, this is the coolest car ever. At 100+ miles an hour, and you've got to take your hat off to them. just immense. Alive, it starts to feel like that's how it's meant to be driven. It doesn't like going slow, this car, does it?
It doesn't like going slow
at all. But it's a right handful in another, and it's the pedigree and the specialness of this car. You just have to really respect it. But this is one of the best driving experiences I have ever had. Over 20 years in the making wanting to drive one of these things, and I get to drive two in one day. And one of them is a rally car. So we're on our way back to the garage now, but I got one more treat left, because nice as the yellow Giallo was, because it was still running in, I couldn't really experience what the characteristics of that car were. So they've got another one back here, a black one, and that's running, was it 350, something like that? I believe it's running about 350 brake. And I'm going to quickly take that up the road just so you guys can see it, and I can then experience what a road going Integrale is like. But this thing, I'll remember this day for a very, very long time. Thank you so much, Ellis. This just is awesome.
You will. I'm pleased you've enjoyed it.
I have, mate. It's amazing. So here's the little surprise, guys. As I couldn't really give it the beans in the beautiful yellow one, I've come out in this. So this car's actually for sale, which is very, very dangerous. But this is a pretty... Oh, I see what you mean. So this is a very highly modified one. It's running about 350 horsepower. And I wanted to just come out in it to kind of see what the road-going Integrale was like with a bit of spice. And the instant thing you notice is that in the yellow car, I couldn't really rev it beyond about 4,000 RPM because it was still running in. Yet in this car, that's when the action starts to happen. So you get to about 4,000 RPM and the turbo spools up, and well, let's have a look. Ready? 4. Oh yeah. And that's very cool. Now I've changed the camera so you can't see Ellis, but Ellis is still with me. But mate, yeah, I now understand why. We were finishing in the rally car and I said, oh, that was amazing. He went, you need to drive the black one. I was like, oh, if you insist. I now get it, because I get that character I was missing out on with the first one. When that turbo spools up, that is just wicked. So here we go. 3, 4,000 turbo. And then you change gear and it drops back into, so you've got the turbo spooled up already, but you've got that lag, turbo. And I find that really interesting, because obviously I've got a turbocharged car, but modern day turbos do so many clever things to try and prevent turbo lag. You don't really get it so much anymore, but in this thing you do. It's really got nothing below about 3,000 RPM. You can put your foot down like now and nothing's happening. But when the turbo spools up, it's just fantastic. Now, the very dangerous thing is this car's for sale. So yeah, if you are watching this and you think, do you know what, I fancy an Integrale, I'll put the guy's details in the description below and get in touch, because these guys know Integrales as pretty much as well as anybody, and they are the people to talk to if you want to explore having one. I might be having a conversation. I need room in my life for a spare car though. Anyway guys, it brings me to the end of this video, I think. What a morning I've had here, and I've got to say a huge thanks to Ellis for letting me drive his cars. Thank you, mate, it's been a real pleasure.
You're welcome, I'm pleased you've enjoyed it.
I've had an absolute blast. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Again, I quite like it when I'm driving someone's car to get them in the car and to talk about it, because I think that's quite interesting, especially with such cars with an interesting history. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have done so, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. I know I say it every time, but the more subscribers I get, the more access to cars like I've shown you today I can get. But anyway, I'm going to basically drive this back to the garage and enjoy my morning with a Lancia Delta HF Integrale. 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 4,000!